Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we explore a moving and deeply human story wrapped in the gentle frame of everyday life, yet brimming with emotions that strike at the heart. She was moments away from stepping off, leaving behind the bustling city and all its tangled memories, when a quiet yet firm voice stopped her. The man who spoke was a single father, holding his little daughter's hand tightly, his eyes reflecting a blend of hope and desperation. "Can you help me instead?" he asked, and that question would change everything. The world around them seemed to pause for just a moment as she turned, unsure whether to respond or keep walking away from the life she was trying to leave. The sun filtered through the trees above the street, casting dappled patterns on the pavement. The atmosphere was thick with the scent of warm asphalt and the faint aroma of coffee drifting from a nearby cafe. It wasn't a glamorous or cinematic moment, it was ordinary, yet somehow extraordinary because of the emotions hanging in the air. The exterior of their world was unpretentious. Small apartment buildings stood quietly, their balconies cluttered with potted plants and drying laundry, reflecting lives that were humble but real. The street itself was alive with distant laughter, passing cars, and the occasional sound of footsteps. This was the environment that framed the start of their intertwined story. Inside, life was simpler but warmer. The apartment the single dad called home was modest, with furniture that had clearly been loved for years. The living room smelled faintly of lavender from the laundry soap he used. A few colorful drawings were taped to the walls, evidence of his daughter's creativity. A soft couch with slightly worn cushions took up most of the space, and a small bookshelf overflowed with both children's picture books and worn novels. The kitchen was compact, with mismatched mugs hanging above the counter. It wasn't lavish, but it was a space that radiated care and effort, a place where a person could feel safe. Performance in this story came in the form of resilience, determination, and the capacity to step into a new role when life calls for it. She, once focused solely on her own escape, found herself performing the unplanned role of a helping hand, a teacher, and eventually a friend. The father, balancing work, parenting, and the wounds of a past he didn't speak of often, showed remarkable performance in the quiet ways, preparing breakfast before dawn, attending school meetings, making sure his daughter never felt the absence of a mother's love too sharply. The little girl, though young, showed her own strength, adapting to life's challenges with curiosity and trust. Their combined effort became a performance of survival and growth, a living example of how people can exceed even their own expectations when circumstances demand it. Safety features in this journey were not made of steel and alarms but of trust, empathy, and emotional protection. He made sure his daughter was always looked after, never leaving her with strangers, ensuring she had routines and stability. She, in turn, became a safeguard of emotional balance, someone who could listen without judgment and create a sense of calm in their small household. There was safety in their shared meals, in the way they looked out for each other, and in the steady, unspoken promise that they wouldn't let each other fall. Even the small apartment carried its own quiet security, locks that worked, neighbors who cared, and a familiarity that wrapped around them like a warm blanket. The unique selling points of this unexpected arrangement were as heart-driven as they were practical. She had been on her way to a new life with no attachments, yet here she found a purpose she didn't realize she was missing. Her presence brought laughter back into the home, helped the little girl improve at school, and gave the father the rare gift of having someone to share responsibilities with. In turn, they offered her belonging, a place to return to at the end of the day, and the grounding that comes from being needed. It wasn't a perfect situation, it came with challenges, misunderstandings, and moments of frustration, but it was unique because it grew from a single moment of connection into something that redefined their lives. Price in this case was not counted in money, though bills and daily expenses were always present. The true cost was measured in the sacrifices made. She gave up her original plan to leave, choosing instead to invest her time, energy, and heart into this small family. He learned to open up and share his space, trusting someone new with his most precious person. The little girl, while gaining an extra figure in her life, had to adjust to change and share her father's attention. These were the prices paid, demanding, yes, but worth every bit for the rewards they gained in return. In conclusion, the story of "She was about to step off, the single dad said, can you help me instead?" is a testament to how life can pivot in a single sentence. What begins as a fleeting encounter becomes a profound transformation for everyone involved. The physical setting may have been humble, the interior simple, but the emotions were vast and deeply textured. The performance of love, care, and adaptation far outshone any scripted plan. Safety came not from walls but from trust. The unique qualities of their bond were born from necessity but grew into something beautiful. And though the price was high in terms of personal sacrifice, the gains were immeasurable in companionship, love, and purpose. This was not a story of grand gestures or lavish settings, it was the quiet, powerful kind of change that happens when people choose to show up for each other. In the end, the woman who was about to step off didn't just stay, she found herself exactly where she was meant to be.